What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Obsession. I'm Karl Befke.
All right, Mike Stadler.
Mike.
Yo.
Got any questions in there?
Yep, I got one.
Do you?
Yeah.
You got one.
Yeah,
What do you got?
Yeah. Yep. Phone.
Yep.
So, how do you get the best results seeding without a drill?
Seeding without a drill. Oh, you broadcasting. Thanks for the question. Moving forward.
Nice.
How do you get the best results? Obviously, you have to have seed to soil contact is number one, and you can't just put your seed on the top of hard ground. You're going to have it tilled or something.
You got to work it up a little bit at least.
And it depends on what you're planting. I mean, Mike and I've actually broadcast at times corn and beans, and it works. And then you got to drag over the top of it.
Yeah, it ain't pretty.
No, but it works.
It'll grow.
Yeah, it'll grow. That being said, well,
up until this year, we used the buckwheat.
Correct.
To help.
So no-till programs.
Yep.
If you're going to use, let's just say for our brassicas, and we will still probably do this, just because the buckwheat actually helps the brassica grow, so it gives it like a cover over the top of it, because the time of year to plant brassicas is early August, and the chance of getting rain is slim to none. Buckwheat holds a lot of moisture. Plus, when it deteriorates, it actually adds to your soil, so it's actually a soil builder also. So we use a cover crop of buckwheat, which we plant in late June. So 6 weeks of growth on our buckwheat is what we want. And it hopefully will get to be about 2 to 3 feet tall. And then we will actually broadcast, or this year probably we will run our drill and drill our brassicas into the ground, and at that same time, the drill will be bending the buckwheat over. Or, which is probably what we should do, is I'll bring my Packer Max up and we'll run the buckwheat down first. Then we'll drill with Mike's ATV. We'll drill the brassicas into the knocked over buckwheat. And then I will come with a sprayer and spray glyphosate over the top of that to kill the buckwheat. That way we got good penetration of our seed to the depth that we want it to be. We've got the buckwheat over the top of that seed to protect from the hot sun and hold the moisture from the buckwheat into the soil, which will help the plant germinate. And once that happens, you get germination with a little bit of shade because of the buckwheat that's over the top of it. You're going to get good growth and good germination.
Yeah. And you can do that without the drill. Like we were saying, this year we're going to do it with the drill because we have it.
Yeah.
But we did it before we broadcast it.
Yep. Right with a regular seeder, hand seeder. Yep. Broadcast it right into the buckwheat, then knock the buckwheat over with the Packer Max and sprayed it.
Yeah. And you'll get some that grow up quite a bit, And then what we always do late, and I'm sure if you watch us at all, we go back in and we winter rye.
Yes.
Basically, and fill our plots in.
Yeah, so if you do any of the broadcasting stuff and you don't get a really great germination all the way throughout your entire food plot, remember at the beginning of September, let's say in our area, about a week before bow season, you could go in and just broadcast rye 100 pounds to 150 pounds per acre in the open spots, and
put it on heavy,
and it'll come up great, and the deer love that. Plus, you have that rye for the next spring too.
We'll show it.
Yeah,
I got some nice ones out here. The good thing too, when when we put that rye in late, broadcast it.
Yep.
Is we already have our brassicas and stuff are up.
Yeah.
So it holds the seed.
Yep.
Basically where we broadcast it, and we could even show the plot that we replanted.
Yes.
A couple years back. That thing came in. That was probably one of the nicest plots I've had here.
Yeah.
And that was a failure, an early failed plot that we replanted.
Yeah, we did that.
You know.
That was August.
Yeah, it was.
We did that
Yeah.
because Mike had some stuff put in, and it didn't take for some reason. I'm not really sure why it didn't work that year. But we had a major failure. We didn't have a lot of moisture.
He was out here with 4 other ones. He just showed up actually
And,
on camera.
we
now
came
that I
in,
see him the other
like
night.
Mike was saying,
So,
and,
we're gonna get him out of here
broadcast that rye into that,
we'll
save
take some
that
better
lot,
pictures in the
and
morning,
stay
but
with it like we needed to.
This is a plot that
And
we actually
shut your
sprayed
bucket
off.
that properly.
in,
Yes, sir.
Right
I
there,
think
and
it was
I didn't
August,
block.
Yep.
beginning of
So,
August, end of July.
You know, like
And
we stated in our
we
other
planned that
podcast,
all
you know,
going
always
back,
stay with,
It's a good,
just keep
good,
working at it. You
testimonial
can
of not
always
quitting
save
on
your
your
plots
plots.
with rye, guys. And that's, you
We're
know,
gonna get 'em out of here.
even if it's the beginning, let's just say it's end of September, so it's already into bow season here in Wisconsin, and all, you know, your food plot isn't great. You're not seeing what you want to see, or the deer have eaten it all the way down. Go in there with 200 pounds of rye and just broadcast the heck out of it, and that
Especially
stuff
if you
is going to
can-
grow.
Especially if you can get a little rain coming right after you.
Yeah, always broadcast if you can. Yeah, if you can broadcast just before the rain hits,
That's your best.
yeah, you're going to get instant growth with rye.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff is so hardy. I've had it grow on my trailer.
Yeah. Goes in the back of the truck.
Yeah, in the back of the truck.
Almost better
Yeah.
than when we broadcast.
Let's not get too carried
Yeah, we've
away.
broadcasted for years, so this year, you know, you can do it. We're trying to get away from it because it's just the money and the time.
We have quite a few acres of food plots we put in, and it's seed is not cheap.
You know,
Not gonna
it's
lie.
going up.
And it's going up.
And
Yeah.
Roundup's expensive, and you know everything's
Yeah.
expensive. So it's we're trying to.
You know what we should do once, Mike?
What's that?
We should figure out.
We should not do that. I know what you're going to say. Nobody wants to see those numbers. Like, oh my god!
How much per pound
No.
do we pay for venison?
Wow. It's the most expensive meat that you're eating. I will guarantee you that.
It is,
So
but it's also the greatest thing in the world.
yeah, you just got to be really. I think you got to be really diligent, really super, smart on how you're doing the broadcasting.
Yep.
Your weather is super key. It is in any plot, really, but
Yeah.
you really got to watch that. You got to get that ground ready, and you got to really hope.
Yep. Number one thing, seed the soil contact, guys.
Yeah.
Number one thing, seed the soil contact, and you want to eliminate every weed in that food plot as possible.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Fill it up.
Yep. Do not think weeds are good, even if you see deer eating them in the middle of summer.
Yeah, and especially if you got a tiller or something like that where you can light till.
Oh, it's
top,
awesome, man.
It's just as good as anything else.
It is.
Light till it, you get that in there.
Yep.
You can or cannot drag then over the top of it, and you're gonna get, pretty good germination, pretty good growth.
Let's talk about poor man
So-
plot quick. Seeing
Poor
we're
man
kind of
plot.
talking about this. Poor man plot. You see people talk about poor man plots all the time, where they pick a little spot, edge of the woods or something, where it's kind of open or whatever, and you just have to cut a couple honeysuckle or something out of there or whatever, and it's grassy, and you can get a backpack sprayer in there or whatever you're going to use. Feel free to do that. That's a good way to get a food plot going.
Mhm.
Once you do that, cut out any of the bigger stuff with a saw, spray it with glyphosate or Roundup, which is the same thing, and then come in there, and if you can turn the soil, great. If you can't, mow off the dead grass, and then go in there and broadcast your seed. And the reason you mow that dead grass off is because you can get the thatch off the soil, so you get the good soil to seed contact.
Make sure too in these little plots, a lot of people, that you have sunlight.
Oh yeah.
Don't put them in the middle of the woods and think it's gonna grow, because it's not gonna work. You gotta have sunlight. You'll see it too in plots. We've done it.
Yeah.
You put a plot in, and boy, this part of it's great.
And then that
And you're like, oh yeah, well that's because that tree's blocking,
Yep.
30% of the plot all day.
Yep.
So either you adjust the tree
Yeah.
or you move the plot. You know what I
Meaning
mean?
cutting it
Yeah.
down.
So which we've done here, we've done at your place. It
Yep.
is, that has to happen sometimes, because you do need the sunlight just as much as you need the water.
100%.
Sometimes. So
That pretty much covers that, I think. Thanks for the question.
keep them coming, people. We enjoy them, that's for sure.
Yep, we appreciate you guys listening. If you get a chance, check us out on the podcast at Apple, Amazon Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and
RSS.com, baby.
if you want to watch us here on YouTube, remember to subscribe to the channel. Just hit the Reaper in the lower right-hand corner. That's Rush Outdoors, Wisconsin. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Later.